I can never tell if this thing is going because it tells me that you've got to change the orientation of it. And I just have to try again, right? That's all you can do. Don't take things so seriously where it just your peace. I did do a live yesterday. I believe there was a few people on it. It was very personal in nature, so I have it on private for right now, just because I think it's best for the time being, I guess. Just being led to do that. I have a ton of stuff I have to do today, and it's like the same scenario. If you don't get it done, then it's just going to carry over to the next day. But if you don't change your time schedule, then it's not going to get done. And then, you know, timing, I guess, is important here. We've got the whistle. Someone's calling a foul, and then we've got a projector. Maybe someone is projecting something that they've done onto you, and they're saying that you violated some kind of rule, when in actuality it was probably them who was crossing those boundaries. Maybe it's being put out on the wall for everyone to see at this point. We've got the yo-yo. Someone was definitely playing games in this scenario, and they just need a little bit of an education, I guess. They're being transported, or maybe they're not even driving their own bus, considering there's no bus driver on this card. Or maybe they're getting a lesson, or they're getting schooled by the ancestors or the spiritual realms of things. I'm thinking of the dimensions card. It's like sometimes it's like our life lessons happen without us even wanting them to. You don't have to go to school in order to get an education when there's just life here on Earth school. We've got our yo-yo games again coming out with the semicolon. Someone could have stopped playing games, but they wanted to keep on. Also could be practice. Sometimes you got to take practice at doing a yo-yo because you're not going to get it right the first time. So it's important for you to keep on practicing. Semicolon is still out, and then we've got an oil change. It's dirty. Someone is dirty and grimy. So probably it has to do with someone needing to stop playing the games, the childish games, and they just need to kind of just not be so dirty and grimy. It's like, why are you so dirty and grimy? We've got hiding, and they're trying to hide the fact. Maybe they try to come across like they're like some nice person, and then they're just so dirty and grimy underneath it all. With the oil change. It's like they think you can't see them. You can't see their dirt and their grime just because they are hiding their body and their eyes are over the sheets. They think, oh, they can't see me, but because I'm hidden. No, you're not. I see you. I see what you're doing. You're trying to hit a target there. There could also be a Sagittarius card. Could have to do with something of the target. Again, archery is another skill that takes practice. You're not going to hit your target every single time. Maybe someone's been trying to hit a target and they don't understand why they have to keep practicing, or why they have to keep trying to hit this target. Why is it not getting the bullseye? They just put their archery equipment down and just said, forget it. Move that to the middle. Okay, doke. We've got the back of the deck. Overall energy is the asterisk, which is it's in the small details. It also could signify someone from the area of the place of Bethlehem, because this was significant to the Star of Bethlehem. Also, as I said, looking at the fine details of things, the footnotes, the things that The fine print is the word I'm looking for. Split of the deck, we've got SE actual energy here. Maybe someone participates in the SEX arts. Loyalty to self. Also the sacral chakra. Maybe someone has an OnlyFans account. Could have something to do with Cleopatra, intimacy, experimentation, spicing it up. We have the oil change here again. Maybe someone has some kind of fetish that they think is dirty. We've got a Ram card here, so this is also my the Aries card. So it could signify something during that time frame of when the Aries are. The Ram is protective of his sheep for sure. They drive something in with great force in order to protect. Maybe someone's trying to force a narrative that someone's on the dirtier side when they have these little sexual escapades. We've got take the lead. So maybe someone likes it when someone's a little rough or they put them in a dog collar. They want to be the one to guide. They want to be the one, or they want to be the one being guided. They want to be the one who's like in the submissive role. Don't know. This ram could be being controlled or guided or led by someone else because it looks like they're trying to put the leash onto the ram. Maybe someone is thinking with their SE actual parts instead of the logic and reality. I'm always sad when my coffee is done because it's like, I don't know what it is about it. All right, we've got our first card out is mold. An old situation, just crusty and old. Again, with that oil change, something needs to be cleaned up. It's toxic. It is disgusting. On the other hand, mold is our penicillin, right? The same thing that destroys also fixes and heals. We've got straight. Someone is straight. This is the straight haircut, mind you, or straight hair. I wonder if someone is actually on the down low, but they want to be seen as they are straight. We've got a hoot hoot owl. This wise owl, the one that watches things in the dark, the nocturnal, what goes on behind the scenes, is ready to say something. We've got a Capricorn, our goat, the greatest of all time. Also the Capricorn card, as I just said. Something old is straight going to be spoken about. Maybe about this Capricorn. Recidivism. Maybe a Capricorn is returning to their old ways. And someone wants to tell you about this, or the Capricorn wants to tell you about this. They want to have their cake and eat it too. So somebody could have been a cheater. They decided that they wanted to go out on the person they were with for some SC actual energy for somewhere else. We've got a moth is returning, like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. Notice there's no candles on that cake. Somebody's celebrating the past. Maybe someone thinks that someone's going to celebrate the fact that a Capricorn is returning. Capricorn wants to do it again. Coming into attack, we've got our hawk here with the crows that come in and attack it, and the hawk is not bothered. The moth doesn't know what's good for it, folks. The hawk sees things from the upper perspective, is a predator, of course. We've got the journey. On the right path, perhaps. The journey is straightforward, right? It's not really hard. It's not a hard puzzle to figure out because the journey is literally straightforward. This hawk is experiencing very old ways, old crusty ways. I'm rubber, you're glue, what you say sticks, bounces off of me and sticks to you. Again, with the childhood games that we were talking about. Saying you're this, you're that. So someone is trying to accuse somebody of being something. Perhaps they're trying to say that somebody was into these kind of feisty kind of ways. And even if somebody is, if that's their thing, folks, if they're the type of person that wants to go through these physical relations with people because it's some kind of fetish or something, I mean, that's on you. That's your business. But if someone is accusing someone of being that way, then it's not really right, is it? Because they're not being honest. Maybe they're trying to say that someone was super easy, like super easy to get with. Or maybe they were told that this person is just super easy to get with. So when this person, these two people got together, perhaps the connection just seemed like it was just, you know, this person's like this with everyone. And now they're realizing maybe no, maybe it was something that was truly special. And now they're still thinking about it. We've got cheese. There's a hole in somebody's story. There's a hole in somebody's finances. The cheese is getting moldy. It's just been left in the fridge way too long. Maybe someone decided they were going to come back to somebody and they're just waited way too long to come back. I don't know why I'm hearing lactose intolerant. Maybe someone's going to come in and smiling at you like everything's just grand. And you're lactose intolerant. You're just like, no thanks. We've got DNA here. It has to do with your ancestors, your parents. Sasquatch, something elusive. Maybe someone thought their parent was one way, but they're actually another way. Maybe their parent was the type of person who is maybe the parent is a Capricorn and the parent is the one that went out on their relationship with your other parent. Maybe your parent was elusive or not there, or was there sometimes, not there other times, and it kind of confused somebody's upbringing on how relationships should have been. A missing parent. Somebody's talking or saying something about somebody's missing parent, or maybe someone was saying someone was a missing parent. Maybe the dad wasn't around. This is the male seahorse. The female seahorse fills up everything she has and gives it to the male seahorse, and he incubates it and gives birth to it when he is ready to. So somebody who wanted to do this, somebody who took everything that was given to him and just held on to it too long. We've got the juggling card. Chameleon. Trying to blend in. Trying not to be seen. Semicolon. Notice how this, everything you say about me or say to me bounces off of me and sticks back to you is underneath the hoot hoot owl who is speaking. And they just keep on talking. Someone with great wisdom. about someone's trying to hide the fact that this person was on the straight and narrow, right? While juggling being attacked for a very long period of time. With these childish games. There's definitely holes in this person's story. Snail's pace, something's going very slow. There's also evidence. Maybe there's evidence in somebody's DNA and the actual DNA molecules. Someone's going back to someone's DNA to find out what's the evidence. We've got candle here. The elusive candle, the elusive magic, the elusive having your cake, the elusive someone's trying to celebrate, but they can't celebrate yet. Candle. At least we've got the candle for the cake now. Maybe someone's going to be coming back, or the evidence is maybe during someone's birthday. Well, if it were my situation, I know that here we go with the TMI. On my birthday, I was out celebrating with friends, and my ex picked me up, and I believe he tried to say it was somebody else who did it, but there was something put into my glass where I was in a place where I couldn't move. My ex and I were not together. But there was something placed in my drink where I could not move. And I told him no, but yeah. That was the last time that he and I were ever in that situation. And then it was the same night that the guy that I was in love with, which is this Capricorn at the time, he ended up saying that he got married. He and I weren't together either. But once you love someone, you always love someone. It's just like, that's what love is. He got married the same night that my ex crossed the boundaries. I thought that was interesting. And it seems like it's coming out in these cards. And boy, oh boy, was that just yucky a situation. Poop stinks. Then we've got love me not. It's a crappy situation, but Sorry, I'm like, oh, now there's a pickle. We've got footsteps. Steps of somebody else also can have something to do with the dynamic of the parent-child dynamic, mentor-mentee dynamic. There's a pickle there. There's a strained relationship of some sort because of the situation, and a pregnancy test. Either someone is being tested. Someone's going to find out whether they're pregnant or not, considering we have this male seahorse. Maybe someone had an extramarital affair with somebody and someone ended up getting pregnant. Could be, I'm seeing the fact that someone's in a pickle now because maybe someone played games with someone's, I'm seeing holes. So maybe someone in the goat skin, the sheep skin, right? So maybe someone poked holes in somebody's sheep skin cover. And so this person ended up getting knocked up. We've got caution tape. Is it a crime scene? Is there danger lurking? Boundaries. Maybe someone's coming in to test somebody's boundaries. A flat top. Someone could have a flat top. The scenery is clear. You can see exactly what's going on. Maybe you can see exactly that there's candle magic going on. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Someone trying to convince somebody to take the medicine, convince somebody to take the story, convincing somebody, and they say it's for their own good. That's the moth. Maybe someone's trying to convince this guy to take the deal. To go in naturally and try to convince somebody of something. Convince someone to fight, get someone to the point of maybe fighting. Maybe they want someone to be uncertain about how someone feels about them. Dressing something up. So they want to dress up a fight. They want to encourage a fight. They want someone to fight. Parade. They want to parade around. Maybe someone's boasting about a fight. Maybe they're boasting about crossing the boundaries. Maybe that's that sexual energy that someone is saying that they're boasting about what they had done to somebody. What they did to somebody's family. Someone keeps talking about what happened. Someone keeps parading around the steps that happened. If we're going to go in this line of things, when they could have stopped saying something, but they kept saying it. Maybe they want someone to not say it anymore. We've got the coffee cup. Spilling the tea. Every day, day in and day out. Well, you know what? When somebody does something to people or whatever, and they're constantly testing the boundaries or crossing the boundaries, that's something that sticks with somebody. So if you don't want it to be spoken about, you probably shouldn't have done it. When your actions are the energy put inside somebody else's life story or experience, it's no longer your energy. It's no longer belonging to you. Because the memory that you created, the memory that you gave away, and the memory that you wanted to have as a memory is the memory that is there for the person that it happened to. So if they want to parade it around or talk about it, then that's their business. But if you're going to be the person who inflicted that memory and you're going to try to dress it up, like it was something given to you and like it was something that you produced and it was something that happened to you, then that's a whole nother story. Obviously with holes in it. We've got the hospital. Somebody definitely needs some help, some healing, some time out, some medical attention. Maybe someone's coming to the conclusion that that's why they did what they did, because it was in their family lineage to be that way. And they cross the boundaries because they need medical help. We've got the key. Maybe there's information at the hospital that is key to the whole situation and everything that went down. I mean, I think I've shared that story on here before. all the disaster that happened when I went to the hospital. Every single department I went into, there was some kind of customer service issue, meaning that they handled it incorrectly. Coffee cup being ground. We've got plunge. Using it for something that's not meant to be used for, right? The geese or the ducks are not supposed to be in the pond board, so that's supposed to be for people to swim in. It's kind of exclusive. It's tucked away in the corner. This is nighttime. So what goes on in the night that we don't know about while we're sleeping? Maybe it's that magic that they're doing at night. Trying to convince somebody to take the plunge somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. We've got a donkey here. Someone's being a real jackass. Someone's being stubborn, carrying the weight, the load of it all. Maybe someone is trying to take a plunge into their emotions, and they're going to try to say that they need to go to some kind of psych ward or something. Considering it's not normal to boast or to brag about crossing the boundaries of other people. Maybe there's DNA evidence at some kind of crime scene. That they're running tests on. Yo-yo is the center card of the spread, meaning that this is the overall important card of it. Like everything is working around the fact that someone was playing childish games. And now they are a jackass. And now they have to bear the weight of the responsibilities of what they've done about jumping from one lily pad to the other lily pad because of their little fetishes that they had. And the evidence is clear in all of this. The test came back. The baby is yours. Get into formation. You know where your position is. You know where you stand. This is the bird formation. Isn't it interesting how all the birds, they go in a perfect kind of... There's the leader, then they've got all the birds that follow behind. Maybe they expected their partners or the people they were involved in to all fall into place. I know that my ex, and I'm sorry to have to keep bringing up my own experiences and all this, but I know my ex, I found this out later down the road, that I spoke to the girls. We were not exclusive. We never had the exclusivity talk, so it's like, how could I be mad? But I spoke to someone who he was dating at the time, and apparently they all, mind you, they all knew about me, but I knew about none of them. And they were told to make sure that I never found out about any of them. I thought we were working on something once upon a time, but he had them all falling into formation. Like a real pimp daddy, right? Real charmer. Very conservative, yes. Let's keep it conservative with the Bob card. It could be someone named Bob, Robert, Rob. Maybe we're more mature now. And now that we're more mature, we're able to find that balance and that zen in the situation. How do we go from being a jackass, from going lily pad to lily pad, to having a formation, or let's just say harem of sorts, being very conservative and reserved with all of that? Maybe this person was very reserved in their regular life and they wanted to go out on an extracurricular because maybe someone wasn't going to perform in the way that they were finding satisfactory. Maybe their spouse wasn't into, or maybe the spouse was into this other kind of fetish stuff, and they wanted to be with someone who was more conservative. Someone who were more like fell in line with things. Someone who was balanced. Someone who was normal. Not to say that the fetish is not normal, because it is normal for some people. I don't find it like it's healthy, because I feel like if you're going to be intimate with someone, it should be based on the fact that you guys are totally in sync with one another and there's feelings and love there. I know anybody who I came in contact with, that I was with, it was because there was a hope of some kind of long-term thing there, of it developing into commitment. I know that sounds backwards, because you should have the commitment first before you get involved like that. I realize. But I'm old now, so thank goodness. Oopsie. So I put some new word cards in here as well. Let's see how it goes with the shuffling, because I don't have the sleeves for them. Oops, we've got lock. Someone wanted to lock somebody down. Maybe there's a lock on these games. They can't play these games anymore. Someone's in a pinch. Or they're not in a pinch. They're not laughing. They're not looking at the sunny side. They're not getting wealthy off the situation. They haven't snapped or swap. They didn't swap out their situation. Their situation is not broken. All right, well, I mean, what works for you works for you. That has nothing to do with me. I just prefer, love, care, concern, respect, things of that nature. Other people, it's more of a transactional thing, right? Now we have a breakup, a sexually transmitted infection, and a dumpster. Maybe that's why they're at the hospital, because they were getting tested, because it fell right on top of the tested. They're getting tested for an STI. There's caution, and there's a crime scene in the dumpster from the hospital. I have a feeling all these new cards are coming out because they don't have the sleeves. So why aren't they in a pinch, and why aren't they laughing, I wonder? Because everyone was on board with it, perhaps? Maybe they did it for wealth. They did it for business with a Leo who was an anomaly. They didn't expect that. And it was entertaining in the beginning. But now they had to be the Judas in this awakening. They're realizing they were the Judas in the situation, and someone's getting the message about a Cancer. And we had Cancer on our story yesterday. Someone was backstabbing somebody. They were trying to break somebody up with a Cancer, perhaps. Maybe the Cancer is the one that was breaking somebody up. Well, that's, my ex was Cancer. Or is Cancer. I don't know where he's at, and I don't want to know where he's at. I saw him at my job a couple times before I went on a leave of absence. Music. Someone could be in the music industry. Sage is upside down. Maybe someone needs to sage or isn't saging enough. or not being seen as a sage. Maybe that mentor-mentee relationship was, that person was a sage. Lyrics is coming in over this awakening, Cancer, and message. So maybe someone gets messages through lyrics of songs about stuff. We've got care here. Someone needs care. That's why they're not in a pinch. Maybe someone needs to make sure that their technology is in working order. Maybe someone's been hacking that. They're not passing the dumpster. Be mindful. Maybe someone should pass the dumpster. Don't go near the dumpster, because there's evidence in the dumpster and you don't want to pick that up. We've got golden upside down. It's not worth it. All that glitters is not gold. Save face. Turn the other way. They're not your friend. And there we have it, folks. Once again, with the TMI, it's a new day. Someone's getting help. That's key. Taking the plunge into their emotions. Bearing the weight of hopping from lily pad to lily pad. When maybe in the public, they are very refined and conservative and mature and balanced. I can't just leave that. What's the next card coming out? We've got bear in hibernation, the chakra system, the piggy bank, a bag of balls, the electric, a tower about to happen because someone was being a jerk about a house with a garden. Someone was being a hoe, trying to divide somebody's time out. Maybe they were dividing this house with someone who was a garden tool. Now they're being benched. The garden tool is being benched, being separated from this house, put in isolation with all of their belongings, their identity, everything that's important to them is about to spring with the clubs they were involved in and the attraction that they had to being an important guest, being invited into this plot to try to put someone to being an extinct. Maybe their sex life, they wanted to make their sex life non-existent. Privacy is greater than this extinction of the male body part. Cleaning up the fact that someone was trying to extinct this body part. Maybe someone is not able to, perform anymore because of BS, being stubborn against somebody who was already a victim, and they went ahead and blamed the victim, cursed the victim, put the victim in a very hard situation where if she looked at anybody, it was something that wasn't going to work out for her. They were stubborn in doing this to this person. It's kind of the mentality of, if I can't have you, nobody will. Instead, they wanted someone just to be mindlessly scrolling, but maybe there's some kind of justice here with the legal system. The legal system is actually hearing the message. They're seeing what happened. They're reading it in black and white. Maybe they're going to scroll across the message and see the truth of what's being said because somebody was trying to hide their hand in it, trying to act like they were on this straight and narrow path, like they were the one who was wondering if this person loved them or not, like they were trying to turn the channels on this person. We've got moment squirrel behavior, gathering nuts, taking a leap and assuming it's going to be all right and land okay. Squirrely behavior, taunting. They say squirrels are super important, intelligent creatures. They study people's faces. I posted it on the group site, on the group page, the tab. There was like 7 or 8 different, I think it was 7 or 8 personality traits or things, meanings of the squirrel. And so then I decided to separate the squirrel and the rat card, because the rat, to me, I wanted to signify someone being a rat. But the squirrel is also known to, with the seeds they collect, they said they could have up to 30,000 seeds or something that they bury, and then they actually, for once in a while, will forget about the seed, or they can't get to all the seeds, and that seed ends up sprouting and creating a new tree, which kind of keeps the trees coming. And that was because the squirrel planted that seed. So maybe with all of these things that are being said, even my TMI stories, those moments will be captured by the right legal people. And they'll be able to address or figure out the story or the methods or the crimes or the victim blaming or the further crimes that are happening to these victims. I'm hearing syndicate. Like it's all a game of this is my bowling ball card. Like you throw this ball down and you knock down all the pins with strategy, with focus, keeping your wrist straight, right? That kind of goes with this. They're having to self-entertain themselves because their SEX life is non-existent. It's funny how this card got stuck in here with this one. I knew that was going to happen when I started putting the cards in the other direction. But I have more sleeves coming, so yay. Yeah, did you know that the pelican was extinct, almost extinct twice? The first time was because someone thought there was some kind of competition. Maybe these females over here that were told not to say anything were in competition with somebody. And so the females who were told not to say anything, maybe they started coming after this person that was innocent. And maybe they were the ones that were causing all of this pain, trying to keep them away from this cancer individual. And making it look like the cancer was the person who the culprit, telling the cancer stories about somebody and making it seem like the person who was Medusa was the person who was saying all of these things when in actuality they weren't true. So in turn, the cancer probably wanted to try to redeem themselves or have vengeance on an innocent party. And maybe now this person is coming to the conclusion of what they're seeing and hearing. And they're reflecting back on all those moments, all those intimate moments. Perhaps seeing them what they were, like this person actually really loved them. But there was someone in their ear who was trying to make it seem like they were not loved. And they were stubborn in seeing it this way. They were stubborn in wanting to knock down all of these pins. The writing is on the wall for this individual. All of this is greater than the fact that they probably can't even perform anymore. The pelicans were used for their feathers, for their wing bones. They were used for their pouch. They were completely just taken apart and used. And that almost brought them to extinction. And then the second time they were infected with pesticides, which made it so their eggs, their offspring, could not produce or could not come to term. With the seahorse card, maybe they were trying to extinct this person's family line, their heritage. Maybe they were doing something to this person's children as well, the children and the mother, with the DNA and the footprints. They were attacking not only the victim Medusa, but they were also attacking the family and the children. In the beginning, it was business. It was just business. I don't know if I remember seeing that card. It was a business transaction. I have the cards for the chakra system. I don't know if I should have these cards in there or if it's funner just to have it so when it comes up, then you go and reach for that little deck of cards for the chakra system. These are the 12 chakras. There's 12 chakra systems. Let's see if I don't have the meanings for them all. Just pick one. I'm feeling this one. The throat chakra, going back to having to say something over and over again, parading it around. Someone's talking about something. Again, they don't want someone to talk about it. We've got the root chakra here. Their connection to it all. Well, maybe an apology is in order. Just saying. Did we have the clubs card come out? We did have the clubs card come out. Should we look at the clubs and who's involved in those clubs? Oh, I don't know what happened here. Infinity groups. Solar plexus. Galactic. I guess I didn't even have all the cards out, but I guess we got the one we needed. We've got the clubs. I'm pretty sure we got the clubs in here. Yep, we sure did. Right there. Open right to it. So they obviously tried to get some clubs involved. They invited people from these clubs in order to get involved in attracting something of this nature that we were talking about, the business. So they didn't just do it themselves. They actually got other groups involved. They got the prison system involved, people who were maybe had gone to prison. Maybe they spoke to these people while they were in prison. We have the trades groups, which would go with the hospital. We've got the doctors, the dental, the legal, the bankers. The cults and covens were involved, and the fraternities and sororities were involved. People who believed in the brotherhood borrowed from the Masonic traditions. So maybe some baby masons. The masons that aren't like really up in levels, they're like baby new to the trade of being a mason. Maybe someone got an invite to become a mason person. So the prison system, people who involved, like the prison gangs, when they come out of prison, of course, they go ahead and go talk to this girl. I always had a sense of that. Because he had gone to prison before because of... That's why we weren't together, like really together, because it's like I told him, I don't want that kind of life and I don't want to be associated, or I don't want to be with someone who wants to be taking the chance of going in and out of jail instead of being home with their family. So I had let him know, if you go to jail, then we're no more. And then sure enough, he went to jail. So maybe there was a writing on the wall for a good time, call so-and-so. Now that they have the dating apps, I think people in prison can get to the dating apps. And so if you have an account on the dating app, they can come and contact you that way. So maybe some kind of story was told about the person on the dating app, and so the people who were in prison would make communication or contact with that person, not telling the person that maybe they were incarcerated. And this person also, as I said, got people who were in these different fields involved. Maybe they went and told their story and got the sympathy of these people to be able to help them. Maybe they coerced them with the spoonful full of sugar, makes the medicine go down. Making a business deal with the bankers, like saying, hey, paying these people. Maybe there's people in these groups that even though they took an oath, they were bought. Perhaps they were even convinced by people who were involved in covens and cults from the spell work that we saw with the candle, because they wanted to be part of this little masonry group. So they were trying to pull all the stops here. That's some story. We have service clubs here at the top. I don't want to keep looking at it because then I'll say it keeps being involved. Lodges like the Elks Club, the volunteer groups. I wonder if like Alcoholic Anonymous would be in this group. Right? Hey Google, is Alcoholics Anonymous part of a service group or a service club?
Alcoholics Anonymous is considered a mutual aid fellowship rather than a service club or service group in the traditional sense. Its primary purpose is to help members achieve and maintain sobriety through shared experience and mutual support, rather than providing community service projects or charitable activities.
Hey Google, in the 12 classification of clubs that we have, what club would it fall into? Service clubs, Greek letter organizations, covens and cults, prison groups, trade groups, secret societies, official groups, racial groups,
Alcoholics Anonymous does not fit into any of those categories. It is a peer-led mutual aid fellowship rather than a service club, which typically focuses on community projects, or a Greek letter organization, which is social and fraternal. AA is also not a cult or a prison group. It is a decentralized voluntary organization whose sole purpose is to help individuals achieve and maintain sobriety.
If we had to fit it into a group, could we put it in the social organization or an infinity group? Hey Google, if we had to fit it into a particular group, where would it fall? A faith-based group?
If you are using that specific list of categories, Alcoholics Anonymous does not fit into any of them.
He's getting short.
Different from a service club, which focuses on community projects, a Greek letter organization, a cult, or a prison group. It is best classified as a peer-led mutual aid fellowship. These are voluntary associations of people who share a common experience or challenge and meet to provide support to one another without professional direction or institutional hierarchy.
With that being said, folks, let's go ahead and call it a day and I'll figure it out on my own. But for me to think service clubs had to do with like AA or what's the other ones? I don't know. Gamblers Anonymous. I was thinking that. So here we are. With that being said, you guys, make it a great day. Be mindful. And make something good happen today. There's always something good that can happen in every single day. So there's that. Thanks for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.